So here I'm going to add some more data to build up this map. So again, I'm at the ACT Government Geospatial Data Catalog. And so if I go here, then what I can find is I can see a lot of data. And so the kind of data that we might want to add is if we go to topography here, there's a lot of data here about, we can see there's 2015 LiDAR data. That's going to be a lot of information there. They're basically point data. We can see soil landscapes, all sorts of stuff, water management areas, you know, uh, you know, this is a useful one actually. This is water management areas. We click on it, we can see that this is potentially catchments, and those catchments could be very useful. It may not display it because of the fact that they're potentially too complex. Let's have a look. I'm going to download that anyway. I'm going to download it as a shapefile because that's, there's one previously generated from earlier this year, so I'm just going to use that one. It goes up there. Then I've also gonna, let's have a look at some other data in there. We've also got contours. Now they're all generated from 10 meters. Large parts of Canberra would not be very interesting at 5 meters, but considering we've got the larger areas on the side, we might choose 5-meter contours. So we go there as well. And, we can download that. I've already downloaded it, but I'll take it there. We can see that there's too many records. In other words, at this scale, it's too dense to see. So, we've got a shape file there. I could also download things in other formats, but that's another useful one. Then, if we go to other information that we might want to get access to, there's aerial photos, that we could also choose to show in there. We could download, for instance, so those are at different scales. It's slightly more complex, those images, because of the fact that, here's aerial imagery, GDA. So that's the mapping system we're talking about. If I go there, if I have a look at it, we'll probably find that, there's a limit to its definition. Often the granularity of it can be, difficult to see. Let's have a look at how fine it gets. Oh, it's pretty fine, right? And so if we want to, we can, let's download something and have a look at it. Let's download a PDF, a JPEG. Yeah. See, I'm not happy with that size. Let's see what happens if I go to TIFF. Also 200 meg, 200 gig, 200 kilobytes. I don't think that's a great resolution, but let's see what happens with it. Might be that there's other ways to do it. There's other information we might want to have in here as well around, let's go to land administration and see what we're talking about there. This one's a really useful one. ACT government blocks current. That tells you that that's all of the individual urban blocks. And I mean, if we get buildings and blocks, we've got a lot of information. We can go in there and we can get that. For example, it might take a little bit longer because there's going to be quite a lot of information in there, but we've got a shapefile, 28 meg. I've already downloaded that. Also within here, we can see, overlay zones. Now, interestingly, I should say that these blocks also include planning information. So in a way, that also gives us zoning information. Overlay zones, electoral boundaries, there's a range of things, open spaces, that will also be picking up via other things, addresses, if we want to find addresses. Building footprints is actually not really that well developed, and probably the OpenStreetMap has got that information. This one's very useful. ACT road center lines, because in a way, if we're going to do what's known as network analysis, which is what happens when you get something like Google Maps tell you how to get somewhere, it's utilizing the center line. And so if we download the shapefile for that, that's potentially going to be valuable. And so this is just how we can get through a range of data. There's a lot in there. So what we'll do is we'll go back to a file that I've been working on that had the OpenStreetMap information, and we'll bring some more things into it. So I have the 2015 contours already here. So I'm going to bring those in. That will get complex because that's a lot of data in there, as you can see. It's in there. You can see also that it kind of extends around the ACT in a certain way. If I put the border layer at the top there, you'll see that more clearly. And I might choose to make the border, more visible. If I go here, I click on that one and I go to the line, the stroke width, maybe I make it 1. Let's see what happens. You see how that's really bold, and I zoom in on there, and I mean, it's on the, that's nice and clear. Let's put some more information in here. Let's also get the, what else have I got in here? Blocks current. Let's put that in here as well, And so now when we can see also that things are getting in the way there because that's a lot of data. And so I'm going to zoom in on an area that I'm interested in. I mean, we also had, just going to pause for a moment and move other data in here for a second. So some more data is now available in there. Let's have a look at it. I've got the ACT road center lines. Let's have a look at those, put them in there. Again, that's might take a bit of processing. Let's have a look. There they go. So let's zoom in on an area and see what's actually in our way and what we can see, etc. So if we zoom into say this area here, and we can see we've got some data in there. It looks oblique, doesn't it? But it's not oblique. It's actually just the way that the geometry is set up. So, we can see here there's a lot of information missing. Like if I let's put the building outlines on the top layer and see what we can see. We can see there's a lot of data missing in those areas. For a project that we're doing at the moment, there is information available on some parts of ANU that we're looking at. But we can see that, there's a lot of data missing. And again, this is citizen science, right? This is what happens. So again, it's looking for the oblique. And so, we can also see that, for instance, we might want to get the building outlines just for convention's sake. We might choose to make them, give them a fill color of black, for the convention. When it comes to the blocks, we can see you can also see some artifacts there, which is that there's things moved off things. And that can be alignment. It can be what people are tracing from. So when it comes to the blocks current, I'm actually going to choose them and I'm going to make them I'm going to make them transparent. And I'm going to then also play around with their line weight. That's 0.26. Let's put that to 0.2. See what difference. Oh, it's got 0.22. Let's move it to just 0.2. See what it wants to do. We've also got, did I put contours in here? I did. Those contours are, we can start to see the influence of those contours there. And so, this is where we can see how much data is missing here, right? So, no doubt, fill in the data, do your part. And so, yeah, we've got that information. Road center lines. Now let's have a look at where road center lines are. You can see the road center lines here. Where are they? They're grayed out a bit. Let's turn off the blocks so we can make them out. Yeah, there's the road center lines, right? So obviously when there's two lanes, there's two lines. So, we could choose to make them, let's make them a different color. They've got, as you can see, they've got a style to them. Let's actually, they're dashed, I think. Yeah. So let's give them a different color. Let's make them red. Let's make that a bit clearer. Let's make the contours, what weight are they? They're 0.26. Let's make them 1. Let's see what happens. 0.1 for the contours. Yeah, 0.1. Let's put them in at into soil. Let's make them brown or something like that. I choose a color. What if that's the color? Let's choose that. So when I zoom out, you'll see that the red is pretty dominant, but that's a drawing that gives you a picture of how the circulation operates within that place. And obviously, we know that there's lots of different sorts of bits of data that we've got there. So this is just assembling a base map. Now, I'm going to bring in this image. I'm not confident about the resolution of it. And so, there's also the water management areas. I forgot those. So where did they go? There'll be catchments. Let's put them in here. So those areas, let's have a look at what they are. I can't really see what they are. That map is really dominating in terms of its fill. So let's actually, first of all, make it transparent. What I do want to do is try to understand. You can see those catchment boundaries. So let's zoom into one, because one will be in the city there, I'd imagine. So that's interesting that that's a water management area, because I would have drawn the catchment differently. And that's an exercise we can do, but it does tell you, let's have a look, that's Belconnen on that side. Let's tell you water management area. Yeah, okay, I can see how that works. Now that's darker. So let's make that also a bit bold. So I'm going to make that like 0.5. And I'm actually going to, it's water, man. Let's make it blue. And so let's put a blue in there for that. And then, and then we can see that that's the way that operates in terms of the way that the function of water management in the area operates. So clearly they're treating areas and water management term not the same as contour, because otherwise you would say that the contour, the kind of ridges around the city are down there. So interesting, probably not the way I would have done it. Now, what's interesting is what is that line through there? This is where we can identify things. So let's click on that line. Oops, we just get everything. And that's giving us central Molonglo. Okay, so that tells us that that's the central Molonglo water catchment area. That's interesting. Let's have a look at where that, man, that's big. So there must be a sub area here somewhere. So, if we clear it by using the pan tool, we can get to others. Let's see if we can actually click on that feature there without getting the large layer above. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to get to that. Well, I mean, the other way we can get to it is we can actually go to the attribute table, and we can see that there are the different parts. Now, that central Molonglo, I mean, that's probably a big water management area. That's why. What if we go to Ginninderra? We could select that as well. How do we do that? Let's have a look. It's giving us, oh, no. Okay. Well, we get some pieces there. Yeah, there's central Molonglo, Where do we produce that color from? Somehow we've got a green zone in there. Not sure where that's come from. Anyway, you get the idea. This is how we can start to get some mapping data together that we can produce maps from. And we'll do a tutorial in a moment that actually has more information about how to produce a map.